Welcome to Fareclock, where we automate timekeeping and control attendance. Hi, I'm Shine, and in this tutorial, I'll be walking you through the process of setting up scheduling in Fareclock. With the initial setup complete, our next step is to configure the shift class. Let us start by clicking the Shift Class tab above the settings. After that, click Add Shift Class. You need to name the shift and you can choose a color for its display on the scheduler. After that, select the shift type if it is a fixed time or flexible time. Let us first define what is a fixed time. It defines the employee's shift as starting and ending at specific times. For example, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., with the possibility of some flexibility for early or late arrival. The first setting for the fixed time is to set the normal shift time. The shift can cross midnight if enabled, then all the fixed shift times in this section will allow you to select a day offset. The day offset is relative to the scheduled date of the shift. For lockout rules, if an employee tries to clock in outside of the start early or end late time, the punch attempt will be rejected. The revision rule setting has many uses. The first one is start early and end late. If an employee clocks in between the early or start time and between the end or late time, the punch will be rounded to the nearest start or end time. Note that the exact punch time is recorded, so you'll know the actual time. However, total hours worked are calculated based on the rounded start time. If an employee clocks in before the early time or after the end time, the punch remains unchanged and is not rounded. The next one is the grace period rules. An employee can still receive full shift credit if they arrive late or leave early within the specified time window. You can also control work outside a regular shift schedule. You can manage work beyond regular shift hour settings here. In revision rules, there's an optional setting called flag exception available for each new rule. When enabled, the worker will receive a notification in the mobile time clock application. You can also view the exception in the console under Manage and Clock Logs. This optional field marks the worker as exceeding the shift duration if they surpass the specified time. It applies only to fixed time shifts. If left unset, it defaults to the start to end shift duration. For the extra setting, you have the option to adjust breaks, rounding rules, labels, and geofences. Next is the flexible time. This allows employees to work any time within a specified duration. These are the settings for this shift type. The shift length is normally hours. The actual shift length is calculated from the first in punch for the shift, including breaks. Lockout rule is the normal shift length represents the maximum amount of a time a worker can be paid on a given shift, including breaks. Workers who clock out early will be paid only for the actual time they worked. If a lockout rule is specified, workers can extend their shift up to the duration of this lockout period and be compensated accordingly. However, their time card will be flagged for working late. This field is particularly useful for shifts where overtime is applicable, as the normal shift length serves as the threshold for overtime. Without a specified lockout duration, workers cannot clock out past the normal shift length. These are the optional settings for flexible time. The first one is revision rule. This revision rule allows a worker to work beyond the normal shift length. However, the worker will not be paid for the additional time unless an administrator approves it under Manage and Time Cards. Leave early rule setting does not affect the calculation of total hours or pay. It controls whether an exception is flagged in the reports for disciplinary purposes. If left blank, an exception will be flagged if the worker clocks out before the normal shift length is completed. For the extra setting, you have the option to adjust breaks, rounding rules, labels, and geofences. That completes the setup for the Shift class. The next step is to configure the break setup. You can find the link in the description box below or visit our help center at support.fareclock.com. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more video tutorial updates. Happy time tracking! Bye!